SpaceX appears to be inching closer to the much-anticipated second orbital flight test of its Starship spacecraft. And most recently, they undertook a critical step that strongly indicates an imminent launch may be on the horizon. Before we delve any deeper, make sure to subscribe to our channel for future updates about the upcoming second launch and more. SpaceX recently has proceeded to restack Ship 25 onto Booster 9, a move signaling readiness for eventual launch. This procedural step is not just for show. Each stacking and destacking provides valuable data on how the various components react under different conditions. With the Flight Termination System, or FTS, yet to be armed, the recent restacking has generated a buzz around the SpaceX facilities. Launch day may not be upon us yet, but it's certainly on the horizon. Reports have hinted that while a November 6th launch date is out of the picture, an attempt within weeks remains a strong possibility. According to the company's recent update on Twitter, they've released a video showing the rocket at sunset, indicating that they're aiming for a launch in mid-November, a more specific timeline than their previous announcements in September and October. This timeline is, however, dependent on the completion of an environmental review mandated by the FAA in collaboration with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The final prep for the launch took place last week, including cryogenic test and a test of the water deluge system that protects the launch pad and nearby wetlands. The Starship Super Heavy rocket is not just another spacecraft. It's the most powerful launch system ever conceived, standing nearly 400 feet tall. Musk envisions it carrying up to 100 people on missions that will stretch across our solar system. Musk's ambition is to establish a human presence on Mars, transforming humanity into a multiplanetary species. However, reaching out to the stars isn't just about building rockets. At one point, getting approval from the Federal Aviation Administration seemed more challenging than launching the rocket itself. It seemed strange to worry about permissions when we were trying to redefine space travel. But as November begins, we have some exciting news all of you have been waiting for. Exciting news emerged recently as the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, gave the green light, finalizing its safety review of the Starship. This essential step scrutinizes any potential threats a launch might pose to public safety and property, marking a significant milestone in the journey towards the second-ever Starship liftoff. Starship holds the title of the most powerful rocket ever built, standing nearly 400 feet tall when its Super Heavy booster and Starship upper stage are fully stacked together. Its orbital flight test took place on April 20th, launching from the Starbase facility in South Texas. The aim was ambitious, with the Starship upper stage set to travel partway around the Earth and eventually make a splashdown near Hawaii. However, fate had other plans. The mission faced several issues post-liftoff, resulting in an intentional detonation of the vehicle over the Gulf of Mexico. The mishap led the FAA to conduct a thorough investigation, which concluded on September 8th. The FAA outlined the next steps for SpaceX, stating, "Before the Starship takes to the skies once more, SpaceX must address all public safety concerns, update their license to include all safety, environmental, and necessary regulatory requirements." Now, when it comes to predicting the upcoming launch date, it's fascinating to draw parallels with the April launch. Let's use this as our yardstick to estimate the launch date for the upcoming second Starship flight. Back in April, the FAA gave SpaceX the green light to launch Starship on April 13th. Without missing a beat, SpaceX scheduled their ambitious launch for April 17th. However, as some of us might recall, a frozen valve threw a spanner in the works, leading SpaceX to scrap that launch. Despite this hiccup, their team's resilience was on full display. They didn't take long to regroup and address the issue. On April 20th, we bore witness to the unforgettable launch of Starship. Fast forward to today's context. One might argue that SpaceX's swift move to launch right after receiving the license in April was due to their state of readiness. But it's essential to highlight that the second Starship has also been in a launch-ready state for quite some time. Just last week, SpaceX's senior vice president expressed their eagerness and impatience, stating, "We've been ready to fly for a few weeks now." Moreover, the likelihood of unforeseen issues scrapping the second Starship's launch is considerably lower. The lessons from the April launch are fresh in their minds, ensuring a more streamlined preparation process this time around. Now, piecing it all together, given that the FAA granted their recent approval on October 31st and taking cues from the April timeline where it took exactly a week from license approval to launch, we could predict a launch date around November 7th for the second Starship flight. However, considering the readiness of the team and the craft itself, we might even be in for a surprise with an earlier takeoff. It's great to see the FAA speeding up their processes. It seems the combined efforts of big players like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic are starting to pay off. These companies recently asked Congress to help streamline the FAA's way of doing things. SpaceX, in particular, was loud and clear about wanting faster license approvals. The main concern is simple. Government red tape might slow down big plans like NASA's mission to return astronauts to the moon. This frustration isn't just behind closed doors, it's out in the open. Musk even tweeted about it saying, "It's unacceptable. SpaceX can build a rocket faster than the FAA can go through paperwork." With all this going on, space fans have a lot to look forward to in the coming weeks. Still, there's one minor issue that could cause a delay in the launch of this second Starship. The conclusion of the safety review, although is a significant achievement, has paved the way for the final leap, clearing the environmental review that's still in progress. Central to this review is assessing the implications of a new water deluge system SpaceX integrated at Starbase's orbital launch mount in the wake of the April test flight. This system's primary purpose is to bolster the launch mount, ensuring it can withstand the staggering force of Super Heavy's 33 Raptor engines. Many still vividly recall the awe-inspiring thrust capacity from the first launch, which not only displayed the rocket's prowess but also dealt considerable damage to both the launch mount and its vicinity. To prevent a repeat of such an incident, SpaceX introduced this enhanced system. The Starship launch pad is not your run-of-the-mill pad. It's as unique and groundbreaking as the rocket it supports, laden with state-of-the-art components tailored to cater to the Starship's unique requirements. Musk had emphasized the significance of this infrastructure even before the test. He declared that launching Starship without it causing destruction to its own launch pad would qualify as a victory. Luckily for Musk and the world watching in anticipation, the towering 120-meter rocket did not disappoint. At this point, it's essential to understand that Starship isn't just any rocket. It stands as a symbol of the US's position in the space race. That's why NASA is putting their trust in SpaceX for key missions, like going back to the moon after so many years. Starship's success isn't just a win for SpaceX. It shows the nation's dedication to leading in space exploration again. So, we're eagerly looking forward to the upcoming test launch. We hope it will not only meet expectations, but will also successfully complete its orbital flight. That's all for today's SpaceX update. If you enjoyed watching and found it useful, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.